Chuck. What's up, Chuck? And we're live again. And this is the last week for Comcast. Yay! I'll be getting Starlink in next week, hopefully. Anyway, let's say hello to everybody. Hope everybody had a good weekend. And who got the amazing magical cookie? Looks like Hot Dog Andy got it. Andy, good to see you here. Enjoy that cookie. And let's see, who got the half cookie? Let me see here. Looks like Signal Cabin got the half a cookie. Signal Cabin, good to see you here and enjoy that half cookie. Then we got the Gigliotis. Ray, good to see you here. Tom Grassy, also good to see you. Dundas Junction Model Railroad. James, good to see you here, man. And who else do we got? Chuck Schreiber. Hey, Chuck, good to see you here. And Derek Alexander. Derek, good to see you here. And who else? Looks like that's it so far. That's weird. That was jumping up and the other one wasn't. Oh. Let me switch. I don't know why this thing defaults to top chat, not live chat. It's ridiculous. Anyway, good to see everybody here today. Let me get this camera tilted up just a hair. There we go, that's a little better. I could turn the lights on and make it really bright in here, but why? James says I'm vertical and above the turf. Well, that's a good place. That's a good damn place to be. Well, the rest of us are too, apparently. If you're not, then I don't know how you're watching this live stream. Hey, Real Artist, how you doing, Real Artist? Good to see you here. Well, we got a little bit of stuff to talk about today. It's actually train related. Imagine that. I'm getting better at this, you know. So, before I start, I got to talk about Comcast. It's not really a rant. Hey, Russ Rockino Railroad. Good to see you, Russ. Glad you're here. to prove that I believe that I'm getting throttled. I've been checking the speeds for the last half an hour. At 5:30, I had 604 down and 41 up. Not bad. 5:45, had 585 down and 40 up. Now at 5:56, it actually jumped up a little bit, 589 and 40 up. But at 5:58, 53 down and 33 up. Hey Dwight, how's it going? Good to see you here. So it's just too coincidental that right about the time that I'm ready to go online, the speeds drop. Now, I don't care how you want to look at it, it seems like I'm being throttled either way. I don't know what Comcast's problem is. Maybe they figure they can weed out the guys like me that do long live streams and save themselves some money on bandwidth. Even though I pay for unlimited, you know. So I don't know what the hell's going on with it. It's bullshit. The good news is I did receive my Starlink satellite dish and all the stuff that goes with it. The installer will be here this Monday, and hopefully come Tuesday I'll be up and running, and hopefully it works much better than Comcast does. Tom says, Jim, more people are on. Well, that's true too. I figured on that as well. But realistically, a lot of people around here get off at 4. So really, from 4 o'clock on, speed should go down. But the fact that the speeds go down literally a couple minutes before I go on, I don't care how you want to look at it. I'm telling you, they're throttling me. It's got to be. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So that's fine. They want to play that game. You know, they're hemorrhaging customers left and right. Comcast is. This could be why. I don't know how many people do live streams, but I'm sure a lot of them do, and it's, you know, probably costing Comcast more money than they want to spend. Dwight, I didn't know you had Starlink. I could install it myself, but it would be a real pain in the butt. I figured it's free to let them do it. As near as I can tell, I've only got one area on this side of the house where there's a clear shot of sky, no trees in the way, so I'm hoping they can put it there. Otherwise, I don't know where they're going to put it. Russ says you can give Comcast. Well, I mean, yes and no. You know, I'm not happy with them, but up until recently they were doing pretty good. Like I said, this is a fairly new problem, and it's just ridiculous. You know, there's no reason for it. For the money I pay them, I give them $106 and I was say $107 a month for unlimited high-speed internet, and supposed to have download speeds of up to 1050 and upload speeds of like 40, I believe, even though I get 41 a lot of times. But it's not consistent. It's not when I need it anyway. Now with Starlink, I'll get a little less. Well, probably close to the same for upload speed. You know, about 40. Download, I think it's only going to be like 400 maybe, is tops. But that's fine. I can live with that. As long as it's consistent, I'm good to go, you know. Hey, Bernard, what's going on, man? Good to see you here. Says, good golly, Miss Molly, it's only 3, aka 1500. Just walked in to get my digger back on. Went to town. Okay. Oh, 1500 must be military time. Caught me out, my pants down for just a second there. Dwight says my download speed is up to 500 and upload speed is around 50 to 100 and never goes out in storm. How are you getting such good upload speeds? There must be more satellites up in Illinois than there are down here. Because Tom Kvichak, you know, Tom's Trains thing, I think he's getting around 400 down and I think maybe, I'm not sure if he's getting 40 or 45 up. So I haven't asked him lately, but whatever I get's going to be better than what I'm getting now. Like I said, 53 down is a joke. You know, certainly not close, not even close to 1050. I've never gotten 1050 down. You know, at best I usually get maybe 900. I think a few times I got 930 down. And like I said, usually get 40 to 41 up, but not while I'm live streaming. Bernard says, hey Derek. Oh, okay, he's saying hi to everybody. You would think by now they would have broadband figured out. Oh, yeah, I know, Russ. It's not that they don't have it figured out. They don't want to put money in the system. You know, Comcast has been around for a long time. And, you know, when I first got them, they were actually pretty good. You know, years ago. The only problem I had down in Naples was billing issues. They could never get their billing straightened out. You know, I was supposed to pay X amount of dollars every month, and it was an unlimited system, so that wasn't supposed to change, but it did. You know, one month it'd be 80, one month it'd be 70, another month it might be 96. A couple of months they tried to double charge me, and I just got fed up with it. I said, look, if you can't get your billing straight, I don't need to do business with you. How hard is this? So I went over to, you know, CenturyLink, and while they weren't quite as fast, but they were stable down in Naples, and I had pretty good luck with them. Then when I came up here, I wanted to get Comcast, but they wouldn't give it to me because the house that I bought, the guy that owned it, he didn't pay on nothing. He owned the electric company, he owned the water company, he owned the cable company, he owed everybody money. And they thought I was going to pay. I ain't paying somebody else's bill. I just bought this house. Here's my deed. You know, you start me out from zero. So they did, but Comcast said, no, we're sorry. We don't know if you really own the house. He said, here's the fucking deed. What part of this doesn't you understand? They said, we don't care. I said, fine, fuck you then. So I went and got CenturyLink. I had it for about 2 months. It might have worked maybe 10 days tops over the 2 months. They were constantly coming out. There was this bad, that was bad. I finally just said, you know what, this is bullshit. So I went down, because the first time I called Comcast, I talked to them on the phone. So I went down this time. I said, look, I've got the deed to my house. This is my house. I own it. The other idiot that owned it, he sold it to me. I need Comcast. What's it going to take other than paying his bill to get it turned on? Well, you're not responsible for his bill. Yeah, no shit. So they turned it on for me, you know, because he owed them like over $1,000. And I'm thinking, well, that's their stupidity too, to let the bill get that high before they shut it off, you know. So, same with the water bill. He owed the water company like $700. My water bill is only $18 a month. You know how long it take to run up $700 bill? Yeah, electric company, that was over $1,000. It's like, yeah, well, you want to pay it for him? Why in the fuck would I pay somebody else's bill? And people up here are a little stupid sometimes, you know. Anyway, enough of that horse shit. So, now that I've got Starlink, like I said, I went ahead and ordered it. It's going to cost me $120 a month, which isn't that bad, you know, because I was paying $107 to begin with. So for a few dollars more, if I get a reliable connection, I'll be happy. And you can't ask for much more than that. And he said, Jim, did I tell you Dwight had muskie stuff? Yeah, right? Sputnik was a weather satellite, I think, and that was from the 50s. I think they launched that on my birth year, 59. No, I did not get the Mini. I had no use for it. I'm not putting it on my car. I don't have a camper or a truck, so I just felt it would be a waste of my time. It was offered. If I wanted it, I could have it, but I don't have a need for it. I don't use internet while I'm traveling anyway. So, you know, if you had an RV, that would be the thing to have. If I had an RV or a camper, I would definitely have gotten it. So, Dwight says you need the upload speed for... Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. The upload speed is really everything. I wish they had equal... I mean, fiber does it, where you can have like 500 down or 500 up or more. But for whatever reason, Starlink doesn't do it that way, neither does Comcast. So, download speed's always great. Upload, yeah, not so much. Jim Mini drone on its way to me. There you go. Right, so that was them. Ruskies put that up, yeah. Not really, Derek. They give you a up to thing, so it really depends. Once you get zeroed in and it learns whatever it does, I guess it takes 24 hours or something before it really optimizes your speeds. And of course, the installer will get it perfectly aligned and all that. I have an app on my phone that kind of gives you an idea where to put it, but I didn't really fully understand it, so But that's what they said, 400 down and they think 40 up, 45 up, something like that. I can live with that. That's fine by me, Russ says I would have been shut completely with any of those bills at 60. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Same here. If you go a month over, they usually cut your shit off, especially electric bill. There's no way they're going to let you get to $1,000 on your light bill, and you can't really spend that much a month. I mean, the most expensive month I ever had was about $450. And that was really because I've got the shed, got the main house, got the guest house. Refrigerators everywhere, air conditioners everywhere, and that's under a full load, and that's about $450 the most it's ever been. So I mean, there's no way you're going to run up $1,000 in 1 month. So chances are that probably took him 3 months to get to that. And I don't know what kind of a sob story he told him, but they let him go. Same with the water bill. If you're 2 months late on the water, they shut your ass off. It's crazy. Yeah, the bright spot is from the overhead light, Thomas. I said if I put these lights on here, it's not quite as washed out, maybe a little bit. And I've got this actually the other way. There we go. So it's a little brighter this way. Maybe I'll leave them on. What the hell? Let's see. Bernard says, "Oh, nice, James. I'm looking to get the minis and take it everywhere plus light." Yeah, it works really good. Who the hell was it? Was it Tom? Were you telling me that your son had it? Or no, maybe no. It was Tom Kvichak. His son has it on his camper, and he says you can drive 100 miles an hour and not lose the signal. That's pretty fucking impressive. And I guess he actually tried it, and that's the only way he'd know. But, damn, lights are too damn bright. They're blinding me. It's the Colgate ring of confidence, Thomas. Yeah, right? Bernard, I want to use to film the layout, $28. I don't get that. My old internet was with Frontier, and my speed was 20, and my upload speed was 1. And it was costing me $100 a month. Yeah, I've heard a lot of bad things about Frontier. They say it's not that good. The only thing we have here is Comcast and CenturyLink at the moment, and Starlink. There's another company said they're supposed to come in. I don't remember the name of the company, but they're a big company, and if they succeed in coming in and giving Comcast some good competition, they might do really well, because said people are dropping their Comcast left and right in Sebring. They're all fed up with it, because between the throttling and the poor line qualities and stuff, I mean, And that's not what you pay for, you know. Yeah, they don't have fiber. Well, they got fiber. I think the fiber ends one or two houses north of Tom Kvichak's house. He wasn't quite in the zone to get the fiber, but his neighbor or the neighbor's neighbor got it. I don't remember which is such bullshit, you know. But I mean, eventually he's got Starlink now, so he doesn't care. But eventually, they would have brought fiber in the rest of that area. Here, they probably wouldn't see fiber for at least 5 years, if even. Because, you know, we're out kind of in the woods a little bit, and they just don't give a shit about us. Chuck says, Hooterville Internet Service, boy. Might as well be. Oh, yes, you can. Mine average 200 to 2,300 a month. Wow. I mean, yeah, you can do it, but not here, Bernard. That's what I'm saying. That the maximum price is probably what I ran it up to. And that's literally with a full load. During the heat of the summer, they've got 4 air conditioners running. 2 refrigerators, a deep freezer, 2 mini fridges, computers. There we got 6 computers, 6 TVs, and a gazillion lights. I think there's 56 light bulbs in my house, just in my house, not counting out here or the guest house. So we can run up a bill. I mean, but there's just no way you're going to ever get it up to $1,000. I don't think. No. Dwight says, I was with Frontier for 20 years and I had enough, and my son said if I can afford to get Starlink. Well, if you're already paying $100 for Frontier, what's $20 more? That's, you know, at first I was kind of thinking, yeah, you know, I'm paying $107 now. Do I really want to pay $120? And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, that's pennies in the big picture. And if I get a system that works, you know, like right now, it just went in the red. It'll probably, I don't know, you'll probably see it in a minute. I'll probably freeze. Now it's back in the green. I've got 2,338 dropped frames. So I'm at 2.8% of dropped frames. Everything else looks good. CPU's running at 76%. Got 60 frames per second. But, you know, like I said, they just... And now it's in the yellow. So, I mean, this is bullshit. You know. And as soon as I get off the internet, or off the live stream, it'll jump back up to where it was. Because I'm pretty consistent about, you know, when I quit. So, this is bullshit. Let's see. Andy said transformed your life, Dwight. Yeah, probably. Russ says we only have Comcast cable or Ziply fiber here. I have fiber myself. Well, the fiber is the way to go. You know. I don't know why they didn't put fiber throughout all of Sebring years ago. But even in Naples, where I left 6 years ago, they're just now getting fiber in where I used to live, Naples Park. And they've been talking about it for probably 10 years. They're finally getting it. You know, it's ridiculous, though. Dwight went from Max Headroom to Buck Rogers in one easy lesson. And Dwight says, I like Max Headroom. Personally, I like Buck Rogers, but Max Headroom was pretty cool, though, too. I remember that show. So, anyway, enough of that horse shit. Talk about some trains here. Well, actually, before I talk about trains, my stepdaughter, she just left today to go back up to Michigan. She was down here for a little over a week. My sleep schedule is completely screwed up. I mean, they're constantly on the run and whatever. You know, I stayed home most of the time because I don't want to go gallivanting all over the place. Because, you know, they'll leave at 6 in the morning, not show up until midnight, you know. I don't want to be on the road that long. And they were going back and forth, mostly back to Naples. I don't even want to go to Naples anymore. So, you know. But anyway, so they left today, so things should be getting back to normal, hopefully. But we celebrated her daughter, my granddaughter's, first birthday a little early because her birthday's not really till next month. So we threw a little mini party, had cake and all. And I think that cake did me in. I had kind of an upset stomach all day today, so was my wife. So, I don't know. What's this here? This is, it was like the hesitation waltz in the old days. Yeah, right, Andy. Tom Grassi says, Jim, my first house was total electric, hot tub ran every day all year, and ground pull electric heat. Average bill was $800 a month, peaked at $950 per month. Oh yeah, well my brother's, he doesn't even have a hot tub. He's up in Indiana, and during the winters his bill goes up around $1,100 a month. Of course he has electric heat, and you know it gets damn cold up there because he's right on a lake, so he gets lake effect, which makes it worse. I don't believe he has a fireplace, which really sucks. I said you should put one in. It'll save a ton of money. And Andy said, James, new Rapido coaches have arrived. Really? Wasn't aware of that. Hey, Rick Strains, how you doing? Good to see you here. Hello, Jim. Just found out my cousin just bought a place in the Villages. Oh, cool. I'm sure he'll like it, maybe. It's an HOA, so I wouldn't do well there. And he says a 3-pack and 2 singles. Oh, okay. Oh, that's for the passenger cars. Jim, that was in 1980, yeah, that's pretty far back. That's a damn high bill for back then, you know. But, I was saying, 1990s. Now, my bills were pretty cheap back then, but when my dad gave me his house, and that was in 2010, we had a bad air conditioner and our central air was bad. We ran it anyway, plus 2 window units because it really wouldn't cool the house. And I was routinely getting $575 bills there just from the air conditioning. So yeah, it's crazy. It really is. I bet you're happy now you got, you know, your solar panels. Solar panels would not be a good deal for me. I could buy a lot of electricity for what the panels would cost me, so you know, if they ever come down in price or the electric company does something different, you know, who knows. But for right now, this is where I'm at. So alright, now back to trains. So I've been a little busy, not a lot, because like I said, my stepdaughter was down and her boyfriend helped me out. We changed the fuel filter in my truck, my Ford Ranger. The damn battery was dead, so my jump box died. So I had to go out and buy another jump box, so I put it on a credit card at Tractor Supply. Damn near $200 for that thing. But you have to let it charge for 35 hours. So tomorrow I'll put it out there and try and start the truck and see how we do. We did fix the kitchen sink, change the faucet. There's no more leaks, so no more water on the floor. The wife is happy, I'm happy. We got that out of the way. I also fixed the toilet. I bought a toilet snake at Home Depot because I didn't want to take it off the floor. I just didn't want to do it. We knew something was stuck in it because she was, like you said, we had the problem with the kitchen sink, so she would take the drain water. I don't know why she took the drain water because the drains in the kitchen sink were fine. But she'd take the drain water in a bucket and dump it down the toilet. Well, a spoon was in there, and a spoon went down the toilet. And her eyes are bad. Now she's getting them fixed now, but before, she's practically blind anyway. So that fucking spoon got right up in the works, and it wouldn't flush hardly at all. So I got the snake, and the snake actually released it, extracted it from the toilet, and it works good again. So we got that fixed. So that was the big things that were going on in the house that are kind of taken care of now. So now I can kind of maybe devote some time in here pretty soon. Bernard says, I'd love to have solar, but I'm far from the sun. Well, yeah, some places up in the northwest, they don't do that well with solar. If you have more winter than you got summer, they're not going to do you much good. I noticed, Andy says, I noticed 2 different greens on the Via train in your video. Okay, what gives? I don't know. So anyway, so I did actually do a few things. Not much, but I got a couple things done. Actually, I did this. This is a minute long. This is the bridge work I did in the new Shortline that's not quite finished yet, so check it out. There you go. Now there's the first bridge. The track isn't in yet. The track will follow around. Go here to this bridge. Kind of like a scary movie video here. I in and out. It's unfortunately the way I walk. It piles there, and I've got the roadbed down. At least in that area, and then there's the final bridge here, the third one. And then it goes all the way over there, and we're joined in. So I've got all my supports are in. They came out pretty good. So we'll just go from there. Hopefully I'll have track down the next week or 2. Thanks for watching. It's short and sweet, but you get the idea. So I've got to lay down the track and some more roadbed on the far end. Tie it in, get power to it, and we should be good to go. And I also need to reconnect the one, because I took a turnout out. Because the original short line joined into the inner main line. I didn't want to do that anymore, so I took the turnout out, and I got to put a straight piece of track in. I'll get that straightened out soon. So, did I miss anything here? That says you guys have cheaper car gas on the East Coast, but your power prices are high. Yeah, well, our gas isn't really, I mean, it started going down, and then the state decided to put more road taxes on it. So it's back up to $2.99 again. A bunch of bullshit is what it is. You thieving bastards. I mean, there are places you can get a little bit cheaper, but nearby my house, it's expensive still. I thought I saw Tom's training thing. Hey Tom, how's it going? Good to see you here, man. Jim, you printed? Yeah, I did print all that stuff, Bernard. So I got that straightened out anyway. Like I said, I still got to put the track down. I got all the track I need. That's the one thing I have a surplus of. I can thank Tom Grassi for that. He, when he came down to visit, he brought me a box of 3-foot flex track, and there's quite a few pieces in there, and a shitload of turnouts. And I wound up using most of the turnouts on the second level where the yard is. They're Atlas, they're not DCC friendly, but it doesn't matter, I can still use them. I just got to supply power to each of the 3 areas. Where it comes in, and then the divergent track, and then the straight track. So it won't be a big problem. What am I printing tonight? Okay, well, I'm doing this here. Let's see, overhead cam. This right here, I'm adding on to the platforms for the overhead subway. I'm a little too short. So I've got the outer part, the inner part. I still got the roof is actually printing now, and I'm printing another bottom section because I've got 2 of them that I got to do. I guess I've got this one here for the other side. I've got to get some paint too because I painted those silver. I'm out of silver paint, so tomorrow or sometime I'll go pick up another can and get those put in place. I've also got to print up more seating, and I think that's about it. And I've got tons of people to put in there, so we're good to go. So yeah, that's what I'm working on now. And these things here, these took 8 hours to print, each one. And I did it, one on each machine, so got them both done in 8 hours. These here took almost 6 hours. I only printed one, and I printed the roof, which is still printing. So I think the roof takes almost 6 hours too. There's quite a bit of printing to be done there, but it's getting there. So I'm working on that. Like I said, I'm juggling around a bunch of things, and that's fine because I work best that way sometimes. I had the chicken car working real good the last time you heard it. I went to put it in, behind the train. Quit working. Now, what the hell's going on with it? Maybe I moved something around. I got to take it back apart. I insulated everything, and everything's pretty solid. I don't know what's going on, but I'll figure it out. But I could try it now just for fun. Nope, not working. So I don't know what the hell happened there. I'll figure it out though. That's enough to do. Yeah, the chicken died. Hey, Michael. That icy blue and silver paint scheme looks. Oh yeah, I did do more on that. The decoder will be here tomorrow, supposedly in tomorrow's mail. But this is what I got going so far. I numbered it number 50, the road number. I still got to put the glass back in it and lighting. It didn't have a back light, but I drilled out the back so I can put a light in it. So we'll have front and rear lighting, no sound. I've just got a motor controller. But it's going to look good. So, and I'll be doing other ones pretty soon too. Like I said, the silver I put in the airbrush, but I'm almost out of it, and that's just to me a color acrylic paint. I need to get more of this stuff. This is some great stuff, and it works well in the in my portable airbrush. And this thing's been working great too. So kind of a pain in the ass to clean, but for now it'll do. I'm gonna buy a non-cleaning airbrush to fit on the compressor part maybe next month, because I'm basically out of money this month. I definitely spent some money. Andy, peck boom. No, I don't think they died. I think they just fall over and die. So, and the number 148, I put half the numbers on. I got the 148 on the cab on the one side. I said I bought the decal. These were a pain in the butt to get lined up and everything. But it's coming along pretty good. I've got to do the other side yet, and hopefully next month I can buy the decoder for this. And this will be a Soundtrack Tsunami 2 decoder, sound decoder I'll be putting in there. I also did the 148 on the one side of the tender, and you'll see it's very close to the real one here. Where did that go? So it looks pretty close to that. I've got the other decals I'm going to have to print myself, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to pull that one off yet, because If I can match the black on the tender, that's the only way you could print white on a decal, is if you use the background color with it. And I'll put it on white decal paper, so the white letters and stuff will show through. And we'll see how that goes when the time comes. Hopefully I'll have that done within the next week too. So I got all that stuff done, so that's not too bad. I was playing around with weathering, and I don't know, I'm not real good at weathering. I mean, I'm going to have to do better, but I started to weather this one. Got like rust stains on it. A little bit on that side. And I did the second one. A little bit of rust on there. A little bit more rust on this one. I mean, it's not bad, I don't think. It's not great, though. I'm going to have to work on that. And I airbrushed that on. Using, the rust, a rust wash. So we'll see. Let's see. Bernard said California, all the laws start, but they want to have total control. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute, too. Could even sell your new updated printer. They're treating printers like, yeah, I know. I was just watching a video earlier today, and it says Bill 2042 or something like that, House Bill in California. They want to quote, they don't want open source 3D printers anymore, and you'll have to have your computer or your printer will have to be online all the time, and will have to seek permission from somewhere. They don't say where, in order to print things. And of course, if it resembles a gun part, ain't happening. And it's fucking ridiculous. It really is. Like you said, they're treating them like guns. It'll be tougher to print something than it will be to buy a gun. But I'm thinking, all right, so what if you don't go online with it? Now, both my machines are offline. They're never online, I go ahead, well, of course, I guess they could go through the slicer hardware. And I'll talk about that too in a minute, but the slicer hardware is online because it's on your computer. So I guess they could stop you from doing shit from that particular point. I printed a plastic gun once, a toy, just to see what it looked like. I printed a replica of a 1911 45. I made it blue. So, I mean, there's no faking it for, a real gun or anything. It's just cheap plastic. But I personally would not trust a firearm that I printed on my machine. And I think I talked about this either last week or week before. Maybe it was a Wise Guy video. I don't remember. You can take a steel, the receiver, the part you rack, and put it on a PLA plastic printed frame, but they have problems with them. They're not reliable. And there was a couple of guys a few years ago that actually set out to print guns, and that's what they did. They made the frames out of PLA, and the receivers, the barrels, and all that shit was steel, of course, because you can't shoot not even a 9 in a plastic barrel. It'll blow the barrel apart. So, and they had so many problems with slide action not working properly. A lot of misfires when it did work. I mean, realistically, it's a waste of time. It's easier to go on the black market, the streets, and buy a stolen firearm than it is to print one that's going to be reliable. And whether, of course, I'm sure you're going to be using it for nefarious purposes, if you wanted to do it that way. It's going to be just as important for that as if you were defending yourself. And I damn sure wouldn't rely on one to defend myself with, because I need a gun that works 100% of the time, 100%. So I don't know what the fucking big deal is with this shit. I think it goes beyond that. I think they're just not telling us what it's really about. And remember, some months back, one of the live streams I was talking about 3D printing now. It's going to replace, you know, a lot of manufacturers. We can print stuff like this almost as good, and if you have like the Bamboo Labs printer, probably prints just as good as this, if not better. So why would you go out and spend $40 on a boxcar when you can print one for less than $1? You know, so it's going to put some places out of business, but you know, that's called competition. You know, if you want to sell your product, make it affordable, beat your competition, and you'll sell your product. You know, now if they were selling those new for $5, I wouldn't waste my time printing one. You know, but you know, I said they want $30, some of them up to $100 for a boxcar. Are they out of their fucking minds? You know, so this is the problem, but this is the way we work in this country. You know, it's the same reason why we don't have $10,000 pickup trucks here, because it would put the big three out of business. Who's going to spend $80,000 on an F-150 when you go buy a $10,000 fucking Suzuki or whoever the hell's making them things, Honda, you know, overseas, and it does basically the same thing. So, you know, we don't believe in actually competing for sales. No, we just try and wipe out the competitor, you know. Well, if we get rid of them, we can continue, you know, bending everybody over. But they're going to find out that's not going to work. So there's big rumor now with the printers. Hey, Wigbag Workshop, Steven. How you doing? Good to see you here. There's a lot of talk now that this is going to spread beyond California, even possibly worldwide. I don't think that's going to happen. And I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people will simply stop buying the printers if they can't print stuff. So you have a choice between, you know, making money on your product, or people not buying it because you want to help the government or you're being forced by the government. I'm pretty sure you know which way it's going to go. And this will eventually hit the Supreme Court anyway. It already did with the gun printing thing. I told you that one guy that, I can't remember his name now, he owns a company. He's a college kid. He prints his own guns, you know. I mean, I don't know how reliable they are. That's neither here nor there, but for a small fee you can buy the files, the STL files, print your own damn guns. He's got everything from Lugers, Rugers, SKSs, AK-47, AR-15s, you know. Any gun you could name, he has a file for it, and they're supposed to be very accurate. But like I said, you're not going to put a 7.62 by 39 round in a plastic barrel. It won't end well. You know, if it were that easy, the gun manufacturer would be using plastic and save a ton of money. But you can't do it because it won't work. But anyway, he wound up, they arrested him, saying he couldn't sell his files on the internet. It was illegal because he was violating gun ordinances. So they wound up going to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court heard it and they said no, it's First Amendment, freedom of speech. He can put anything on the internet he wants, and there's no proof that they're even, you know, that they're going to be rampant or people are going to be running out. Criminals aren't going to get on the internet, spend $30 for plans, and then buy a printer to print a gun that won't work anyway. They're just not going to do it. So basically the Supreme Court says, you know what, leave the guy alone, he's fine, and you're allowed to make your own guns at home anyway, even without a serial number, as long as you never sell or transfer or let anybody else use them. So he was released from prison. He went back in business, and he's still in business. Of course, now you can't get the files for free. You have to become a member of his channel, and you actually have to pay for the files, which, like I said, I wouldn't waste my time. But, you know, this is such bullshit. Every time something good comes along that benefits the people at large, the government or somebody tries to fucking stomp it out. And maybe it's time to start stomping out the government. You know, they're getting way over their what they're supposed to be doing. That's all I got to say on it. Well, that's true, Andy. Yeah, well, you can make your own truck. I print trucks. That's no problem. I did find a file. Tom Grassi has the same file, and they work very well. But you have to filament print those. If you print them in a resin printer, they're too brittle. They'll break putting the wheels in. So PLA works better for the trucks. But as far as wheels and axles go, well, I guess you could go plastic. But why? You know, I'm getting rid of all my plastic wheels. They said the cars that my stepdaughter got me, one already fell out, but those are plastic wheels. They're garbage. You know, I've got metal wheels I'll replace them with. And like I said, I could print my own trucks. And a lot of times I will print trucks for these anyway, because these are truck-mounted hook couplers. Can't use them. So I'll put my own trucks on and put body-mounted couplers on there, which, like I said, I have. So, and things like that you buy, because like I said, that's what I got at the trade show. I bought a bag of Katie draft gearboxes and lids. And I got 10 pair in there, so you know, that's not a problem. But you know, but that's not where they make their big money. They make their big money on the shell, and it's, you know, it's injected molded, I would imagine. It probably cost them pennies to actually make one. Now, granted, the dye's expensive, but you know, I don't know how many bodies you can print on a single die before the die becomes unusable or degraded. But I'd be willing to bet probably about 10,000-20,000 shells you could print before you have to replace the mold. So, you know, because that's the, you know, molds cost money. That's why we have to charge so much. No, you charge so much because you can, and because we're dumb enough to pay the money, you know. So it's, you know, like I said, you're dealing with companies that their sole purpose is to make a profit, as much of a profit as they possibly can, regardless of what you think or what you feel. So yeah, well, you're right about that, Andy, but they are still making money. The biggest money is on the shells themselves. Even the chassis would be cheap to print, and there's not much to them. I mean, this is a pretty basic chassis on that. Not even much detail on there, so printing this, I think I have files to print these chassis, and I have files even to print the box cars. So I'm probably going to buy the Bamboo Labs. I'm thinking next month maybe. I might just go ahead and buy. I want to put it on a credit card and be done with it before they fuck around with it, you know. Hopefully. Like I said, we're not done with that discussion yet either, but we'll go further ahead before we get back into that. So let's see. Dumbass Dems are trying to ban hunting and fishing in my state. They say it will move into agri. Yeah, Russ, you're right. The Democrats need to be ejected from America. I just did a wise guy video and basically said the same thing. You know, look, the Democrats are trying to destroy America. They hate America. They don't want to see America survive or succeed. We need to get rid of them, and the best way to do is deport them all. You know, send them to fucking, how about North Korea? They do real well over there. I mean, they want to be, you know, having somebody hold their hand and leading them around, you know, with a leash. That's the best place for them. Bernard says, think we should send Screw Scum a G-scale figure of him with some Epstein girl's buzz toy where the sun don't shine. Flood California governor. Yeah, that'd be funny. Well, you know, he's on that list anyway, probably. Of course, that list is... I read the list today on the news. And of course, you know, they're going after a lot of the dead people. They said Elvis was a regular there. Well, I find it hard to believe. Who the hell else was it? Some of the musicians that are, like I said, they're dead now. Oh yeah, they were regular visitors to the island. Bullshit. You know. The only reason they're giving their names out because, well, it's too late to kill them. They're already dead, you know. Yes, I think they should shut down the grocery stores first and see how that goes. There you go. Well, we all know California is the shithole state on our great country. That's true, Tom. They really are. Tom said, Jim, you need to use silicone tube in that hole so you can use... Yeah, I was going to do that, actually. I was going to take your advice the way you're doing it. Because these have the push-in trucks. And they're pretty fucking worthless. I mean, they pop right out for one. And you can see they got the big pin there. Then you got the big hole in the frame. So yeah, I need to fill that in, silicone, and then drill a small hole and put a regular screw in there for my regular couplers, or trucks rather. So yeah, I'll be doing that. Bernard says, oh no, he muted himself again. Oh, did I? Did we go in the red or something? I don't know. That says California and New York towns. Yeah, well, it's not just them two either. It's Washington State, Oregon, Colorado, and New Mexico. And there's a lot of blue states out there that, you know, and we just need to shut them down, get rid of all the Democrats, and, you know, jail the ones that are committing crimes anyway. Execute the ones that are, you know, pedophiles or heavy criminals. We'll solve a whole bunch of problems. You might want to see what happens with the Thingiverse sale first. They start charging on it. Well, yeah, I heard about the sale. Who the hell bought them? I can't remember who bought them now, but I don't think they're going to start charging. If they do, it's going to hurt them more than it will help them. You know, because like Turbo Squid, which is another 3D file site, they have outrageous prices on most of their shit. So if you want a 3D STL file, say a dump truck, you know, HO scale, some of them things they got up to $80 on, just for the file. And I'm thinking, I ain't paying you $80 for a damn file. Not when I can find them everywhere else. I mean, I'll go on Colts, which is also another pay site in some cases, and you could get the same truck for, you know, $2. So, you know, there's a lot of competition with that. I just don't think that it's going to hurt them at all. I mean, I just don't see them doing it. And a lot of this stuff is probably fear porn, or maybe they're looking for public reaction. You know, if the public gets pissed off enough, they'll change their tune real quick. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. Tom says the Dems love to blame someone else for a problem. They need to look into the mirror to see the true problem. Yeah, that's true. Dag nabbit, sorry about the cussing, but I lost all audio. Oh, did you? Well, everybody else can hear you though, right? That's on your end there, Bernard. Tom says the only way Dems get elected is by using the illegals. Well, there's a rumor, I just saw the YouTube video, and it kind of scares me a little bit. They claim they're going to flip Florida in the midterms, and I'm going, if them fuckers do that shit, you know they cheated, because we're a solid red state, and there ain't no damn way in hell. The last time we had a Democrat governor, we were in the red financially. We now have a $1 billion surplus of money because DeSantis doesn't piss away the money. And he's cracking down on a lot of the fraud. So we would be stupid to elect a Democrat. I mean, I'm not going to elect one, you know. I'm voting straight up Republican. I already knew who I'm going to vote for, even though he's not real big in the polls yet. I think it's the, what do they call him? It's not the vice governor, but they got a different name for him, but he's the second in command of the governor. They're saying he's the perfect guy because he's going to continue DeSantis' work because DeSantis can't run again because we have term limits here in Florida, which unfortunately kind of sucks in this respect, you know. Let's see. Russ says, I heard Mandami is firing 5,000 new. Yeah, he's in deep shit up there, man. There's rumor that they stormed his apartment. The people did because he's. Have you seen New York City lately? They got trash piles that are 8 foot tall. They're not picking up the trash. It looks like a city dump. The whole damn city does. Now they're complaining about dog shit all over the place, but they're not complaining about people's shit, even though there may be more people's shit than there is dog shit. And the Muslims over there, they want to ban dogs in New York. And I'm thinking, there's going to be civil war in New York. You watch. You start fucking with people's dogs, I think that's the line you just can't cross, So we'll have to wait and see what the hell going on with it. Man, Dammy's an asshole. Bernard says, bingo, Tom, that one's out of the park. Yeah. Tom says, just went on Thingiverse main page. They have a AA flick 19x gunfire. Oh, I never noticed that. I'll have to check it out. Bernard says, yeah, Russ, and raising property taxes 10%. Yeah, property taxes, they want to raise them 10%. Actually, 9.5%, I think, to be exact, but might as well say 10. That'll bankrupt half of New York City's property owners, man. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with this guy, Well, we know, but, they deserve what they get because the dumbasses elected them. And you know why? Because they promised them free shit. And nobody's getting nothing for free yet, and they ain't gonna be either. Thanks for that, Russ. That's good to hear. Yeah, it's definitely on Bernard's device there. Russ says, problem is we have voters that actually believe the Dems gaslighting bullshit. Well, yeah, the Democrats, and they're stupid. You can't fix stupid. But we can eliminate them. We can not kill them, but although that's not a bad idea either. We could deport their asses and say, look, should be a simple test. If you hate America, if you badmouth America, if you're always bitching about America, you're out of here. We're deporting your ass. And you can't come back. We don't want you here. And that's the way it should be. Anybody that hates this country, and I asked this in my last video, if you hate America so much, why don't you fucking leave? If you're in a job that you hate it so much that it's literally making you sick, do you stay at that job? No. You quit it. You find another job that you like. Why can't they do this with the country? If you hate America that much and hate Trump that much, get the fuck out. Go somewhere else that you might like. Tom says, Jim, downloading the gun file, it was free to download. The site looks new and files are still free. Well, they merged when they got bought out, but it's more of a merger than anything else. You might see some pay files in there, but I don't think you're going to see a lot because Thingiverse is successful because all the files are free. And they have you could donate money to a maker. Every file that's on there, there's a way to pay them. To give them money. If you want to donate. I don't donate because that's like tipping, and I don't really believe in that. So, but but I tell you, you can print a gun file all day long, but I damn sure wouldn't put a bullet in it. You own guns, Tom. You know what it's like. Any real gun owner knows that a plastic weapon is not really viable. They said you could print the frame, but you're going to have problems with it. You're going to have a short lifespan on them. They said the guys that they built, it was a Glock 19, and they did so much filing they had to do to get the slide to work half-assed right. They had to lube the shit out of it, and they boom boom, and then it would jam. It wouldn't cycle properly, so it wouldn't load a new shell, so they clear it. Boom, boom, maybe, and then, it was constantly jamming. And even they said, it's destroying the frame, the grooves that it rides on, the receiver rides on. It's not going to last long. It's probably, you're not going to see accuracy either. An accurate gun has to be tight, Everything has to line up properly and stuff, and with a 3D printed one, that may or may not be the case. And once again, look, if you're hell-bent on committing a crime or taking a life, you're going to do it one way or the other, If you can't get your hands on a gun, you'll use a knife. If you can't get your hands on a knife, you'll use a club. If you can't find a club, you'll just get in your car and use your car to do the job. There's too many ways to take a life to not even really worry about, a gun. A gun is probably the worst way to kill somebody because it's too traceable, I mean, if I were going to go on a killing spree, of course I wouldn't. But if I was, I'd use a bow and arrow. Actually, a crossbow because they're more accurate. Make sure the bolts are clean. There's no fingerprint trail. There's no serial numbers on it. You might actually get away with it as long as there weren't any witnesses. And it's just as deadly as a gun, maybe more so. Russ says another problem is we have too many Trump America hating judges. That's true. They should be removed from the bench anyway, and probably charged with treason. Derek says, Thomas, you're probably on an FBI list now. Yeah, maybe. Well, they say if you're not on the list, you ain't doing something right. Thomas is just like that bitch on the award show saying we are on stolen land, and then she went home to her $20 million home on stolen land. Oh my God, they are so stupid. Oh yeah, what the hell is her name? I don't remember her name now, but yeah, you can't fix these people. They really are stupid. You said, and somebody said, well, why don't you give your house back to the people you stole it from? Well, I ain't gonna do that. Why not? It's stolen land. You're a thief. Don't you think you should go to prison for that? She shut that down real quick, So I'm saying they speak and they don't even hear what the hell they're saying, Bernard says, okay, I'm back. It's that damn lever B key dog jumped up for some loving pause on keyboard. Oh, okay. It's your dog's fault, okay. Yeah, it happens. Oh, hell, I've been on a list for a long time, Chuck. Just for my Wise Guy videos probably got me on the list. And actually, I was on the list long before I even was on a computer, actually. Hey, Jerry 2057, Jesse, how you doing? He says, Bernard, don't you just love pets and your dog? Now, unfortunately, my dog does. He's camera shy. He won't come up on my lap until after the live stream is done. So I don't have to worry about him hitting the keyboard or anything, but, Cats, on the other hand, I got a cat in the house. Callie, I named her. And she likes to chase the mouse, the pointer, on the screen. So I'm doing something, she gets up on the desk and starts pawing at the pointer, the cursor, and it's like, Callie, get down. I can't see what the hell I'm doing here, No. Thomas says, Bernard, don't move to New York City. They will take your dog away from you. Yeah, that's what they're talking about, banning dogs. Yeah, you try to take my dog and see what happens. Yeah, my neighbor threatened to kill my dog. He'd been feeding my dog for 5 years. I thought he liked the dog. Then one day out of the blue, he said, you need to keep your dog off my property. Okay, why? Well, I don't like that dog. Well, you've been feeding him for 5 years, Well, if I catch that dog here again, I'm going to club him. I said, you club my dog, I'll put a fucking bullet in your head. How's that sound? Just keep your dog off my property. Don't worry, I will. If you ever fuck with my dog on my property, though, I will kill you. Yeah. So we're not really on speaking terms at the moment. Can't imagine why. Time to hit the sack. Night, Jim. All right, Andy. Have a good one, man. Thanks for popping in, and sleep well, and have a fun and safe weekend, and don't do anything I wouldn't do, which, leaves you wide open. So, and that was really about all I got train-wise to talk about. I haven't really done anything else. I mean, he said the printer's been doing all the work lately, and I'm just letting it run and do its thing. Oh, I did get this. I guess my daughter-in-law bought this. I'm not sure. It's a waffle-scented candle. I like candles. I usually like vanilla. And I have a 3-wick candle as vanilla. But this one actually does smell like waffles. It smells good, man. How the hell they get a waffle smell out of that? Beyond me. But they do somehow. And that's about all I got accomplished. Oh yeah, when I got those cars, the 2 train or rolling stock cars, in the boxes, and I'd never seen how they got there, but each box had 2 pieces of straight track. And you can tell it's probably old, because those cars were probably from the probably 80s maybe. And this is steel track. It's not, I can't really see it too well, but it's not nickel silver. It's definitely steel. I mean, it's still good. I might put it like on the yard or something, but where it doesn't matter. But I got 4 pieces of straight track. Yeah, because I opened up the box and one actually poked my finger. What the fuck, There's track in here. I'd never seen a train car come with track before. I don't know how it got in there. Whether it came that way from the factory or somebody stuffed it in there, I don't know. And the cars don't look used. I mean, this thing looks brand new, There's not a scuff on it, not anything. I mean, and even the wheels are spotless. So I'm thinking these were never actually used. But they're definitely Bachmann, and I think they're old. I mean, I'm not sure. They might be newer, but even the chassis, this thing is, the paint's crisp on it. It's in really good shape. Of course, it's got the horn hook coupler, so it's got to be older. Same deal, plastic wheels, truck-mounted couplers, so I'll fix that. But they're nice cars considering, so once I convert them over to, metal wheels and Katy couplers, they'll be perfect, Even the ones I got from the train show. I think this is a Bachmann too. Yeah, it looks the same. And same deal, plastic wheels, horn hook couplers. But I mean, the body is in perfect shape. So I don't know what's going on with that. I've got a few cars like that. And I got them relatively cheap, so I figure I got a good deal. I need a coal smoke scented candle. There you go. That would be different. They had They had the JT smoke, liquid smoke up there at the train show, and they had like 20 different scents, and they had a lot of weird ones. They had one was a pine scent, like Christmas trees. They had I don't remember what half of them were, but they had all these weird scents. If I didn't have any vanilla, I would have probably bought it, or a waffle. But I bought one here, but it's not really scented, I don't think. What the hell do they do with it? Now this one's diesel power. I don't know how they got that as a scent, but JT's Mega Steam. So yeah, but they do make all different scents on these. And I didn't know that until I was watching the video. I can't remember whose video it was now, but he said, "Oh yeah, I got, you know, cinnamon flavored smoke," and I'm thinking, and they did have cinnamon up there. I'm thinking cinnamon flavored. How the hell did they get that out of this? But it's pretty cool anyway. If I could ever get my smoke unit to work on the BLI steamer that I got, yeah, that'd be cool. I could probably put a smoke unit in this 148 replica, but I don't even know where you get one small enough to fit in there. You know, I mean, they did make them with them, so they're available, but I don't know where you get one from. Then you got the other problem of, you know, getting it to puff and or chuff, whatever. Because I know one guy, Scott's Trades, he put one in one, and it didn't chuff, it just billowed smoke. You know, so like it really wasn't very realistic, and I thought it was kind of dumb. But hey, Floyd Robbins, how you doing, Floyd? Good to see you here, man. Oh, you may be on to something. Jesse says, my soap smells like Valvoline. Wow, that's weird. I got some of those, designer soaps. What the hell are they called? Fuck, I can't remember the name of them. But I got Spice Rum. That smells great, man. And I got one that's similar to Spice Rum. Those are square soaps. What the hell are they called? After the Bigfoot guy. Sasquatch. Dr. Squatch. That's it. The Dr. Squatch soaps. I started buying them a few years ago, and I really liked them, man. They're cool. And they get great scents on them, you know. So. Tom says, Jim, my flywheel puller tool comes tomorrow. That's cool. Now, hopefully my decoder will come tomorrow, too. But I'm curious to see how that works and what it looks like. So maybe you should do like a short on it just for shits and giggles. I got an idea how it works, but Bernard says every flavor you can imagine, strawberry and coconut, is a good smell waiting for the pizza scent. Yeah, I did see the coconut. I don't really like coconut. I didn't see strawberry. Strawberry I might have bought because I like the smell of strawberry or cherry. Like strawberry, cherry, vanilla, waffle, obviously. You know. That's really cool, though, that they can do that. Old Spice, there you go. I haven't used Old Spice and shit since I was a teenager. Like, my dad used to use that shit. You know, aftershave and whatever. And I used it just for shits and giggles. For those rare occasions when I actually shaved. I'm probably going to shave this off this week. It's about that time of the year again where I want to air out my face for, you know, a week or two and then let it grow back. It's really out of control right now anyway, so I can either trim it or just shave it off and start over again. And I'm thinking I might shave it off, so next week when you see me, I might be clean shaven. We'll see. Don't hold your breath, though. You have to pull the clutch first. So, yeah, I was amazed at how well this thing works. This airless airbrush, pretty quiet too. You can probably hear it a little bit. And it's supposed to put out 48 psi. It is single stage, not double though. So you don't have to push down on it. It constantly throws air. When you pull back on the handle and you get the paint, of course your adjustment's back here for your spray pattern. So, and I used the medium reservoir. Comes a little tiny one that's in there, it's just too small. Then you got this big ass thing that screws on there. Which is probably too big. So I went with the medium one that works fine. So I'm actually pretty pleased with it. It works well. Still a pain in the ass to clean though. No one will recognize you. Well, I do look different without one. Well, Jesse, it's not the first time I've shaved. I mean, I don't really enjoy it, to be honest with you. I feel naked without a beard. I mean, I've had one since I was 13 years old, you know, on and off. Now, for a long time, with my early years, I just had a goatee. I didn't really do anything with the sides. And I grow a lot under here. I have to trim this constantly. And I'm way overdue for trimming it, but you know. But so I'll shave it. And like I said, it'll give my face a chance to air out a little bit. Put a little color into it, because it'll grow back in about a week. You know, like almost like this. My hair grows really fast on my face. Hair not so much, but here. Let's see, I can see a new wanted poster there. And next Jim, next trip to the post office, I'll check. Want me to take the old one down? Funny, Bernard. Really funny. Tom says, Jim, looks like my... No, I didn't get it from Amazon. I got it from Hobby Lobby. It's an end tint. Never heard of them before, you know, but it was cheap, and I paid for that thing anyway. I got the box down here. Ugh. I gotta stop throwing shit on the floor. Paid $43.99 for it. It was discounted, that's why I bought it. But it's actually made by N Tint. Said I never heard of before, but it's a nice one. It works well. Comes with a charging cord and all that. And, you know, I think it's nice not to have a damn, you know, hose attached to it, and you can just walk around. Because I started weathering my bridges. You know, put some rust stains on them. I might have to get some lighter rust because it doesn't show up good against the gray. But maybe I'll buy something different for, you know, the paint. But, you know, I was able to walk around and just, you know, it was great, you know. So this is one of them times where cordless really is the way to go. Let's see here. Yeah, that's the one I got at Hobby Lobby, Tom. Like I said, it's a good deal. I saw an airbrush itself that will screw onto that compressor, and it's a non-cleaning one. It's pretty slick the way it works. You don't clean it. I like shit you don't have to clean, so I'm gonna order it. It's $50 on Amazon. I'm probably gonna get it next month, and I'll use it on this compressor. And then because that's the only pan way. I spend more time cleaning that thing than I do painting it with it, you know. Because if you don't clean it well, it's just going to give you problems. She just said, well, time for me to get back to work and listen to some music while I work on a route program. All right, Jesse. Well, thanks for popping in, man. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good weekend. Be safe and have fun. Bernard says, had a beard since 6th grade, but come warm season, I trim it down. Well, I usually trim mine down, too. Like I said, I kind of let it grow because it's been cold here lately. And I'll tell you what, this really does warm your face up. So. The body is actually metal. The only thing that's plastic on it is the reservoir cup. Everything else is all metal. Boy, says, I've never grown a beard, but have had a mustache since I was 17. Never shaved it off. Well, even when I shave my beard, I can't remember last time I didn't have. Well, actually, I can. I was 17 the first time I shaved my mustache off. I did it from my mother-in-law, my future mother-in-law, from my first, ex-wife, and because she used to bitch, you look like a bum with all that hair on your face, I said the goatee and the mustache. She didn't like it, so I said, you know what? I'll play along. I'll shave it off. Maybe it'll make a good impression on her. Nah, didn't make a difference. Kind of pissed me off, really. I have to tell you something, I'm never doing this again, And I've never shaved my mustache since then. The beard, yes. Mustache always stays. I look completely stupid without a mustache. So, it's staying. But, I did learn something from that, though. Like you said, you can't please anybody. If somebody doesn't like you, they can blame it on your beard or whatever, but shaving off doesn't change nothing. They've already got that idea in their head, I remember I was painting a house once, and this old lady that owned the house, she was nice, but she goes, you would look so much better if you'd shave that beard and mustache off. I'd say, well, why would you say that? She goes, well, you look like a criminal. I says, well, you're a Christian, aren't you? She goes, yeah. I said, well, Jesus Christ had a beard and mustache. Did he look like a criminal? Well, that's different. I said, no, it's not. It's the exact same thing. I said, look, you got more to worry about. A clean-shaven baby-faced guy, more of them have been serial killers than anybody ever had face here. I said, I'd be more worried about somebody who looks good, because you don't know what they're going to do. At least with me, I'm being normal and natural. Not trying to hide anything. So she kind of agreed with me a little bit reluctantly, but because I said, no, I'm not shaving off for anybody for any reason, If you don't like it, don't look. And don't judge me because of it, Because most of your notorious murderers in history were all clean shaven. What does that tell you? You got more to worry about a guy that's got no face here than somebody who looks like me, Anyone watch Rex Barbados? I'm looking to get a good airbrush, and man, that guy can paint the demos. He demos airbrushes and paint a lot. Well, there are good airbrushes out there. The Pache is good. What's the other one? There's another one that's even better, but they're high end though. You're gonna pay $100, $200. And they do everything. I mean, like, I remember there was a guy down in Naples years ago. He used to do T-shirts. He'd airbrush stuff for you. I had him do one for my girlfriend at the time, and he did her in a bikini in the car, even though she didn't have a bikini on, but she was standing in front of her car. It was a beautiful shirt, and I think I paid $18 for it. And I mean, this guy just, it was absolute perfection. I'm thinking he had to have a high-end airbrush to do that, because you can't use a cheap one to do that shit with, So, and you figure, like you said, you look at this. This was $43. I think the list price on it was around 70 something, but the bulk of the money's probably in the compressor right here. The airbrush itself, nothing special. Like I said, you can't. The only thing you can do is adjust the spray pattern a little bit on it, and that's it. It's not two-stage; it's single stage. A quality airbrush can be two-stage. All my other ones are. You got to push down for the air, and then pull back for paint. This you just pull back and you get paint. So, and like I said, there's other ones where you can vary the pattern, the amount of paint you throw out at one time. This doesn't have that. This is by any I can't think of the word now. By any explanation, this is a cheap ass airbrush. You're paying more for the compressor than you are for the brush. I said it's adequate. It works, but If you want to get serious about airbrushing, I'm not that much of an artist, not that way. I don't know, maybe I can be, I don't know, but I'm not going to spend $100 on an airbrush to find out. You know, I'm just not that much into it. I do basic stuff with it, you know. If you want to do, like I said, you know, paint letters and especially script, you want a really controllable airbrush to do that with. And you can get your spray pattern down to this, you know. I just don't have that kind of money to throw down on one right now, and I probably never will. Maybe down the road and I get bored, who knows, you know. I was watching a class on airbrushing on YouTube, and the guy, he had I think that was a Pache, and it was a high-end brush, you know, and he's showing the different ways to control the spray pattern, how to write with it, and how to do like waves with it, and, you know, for ocean waves. And the guy was fucking good, you know. I'm thinking, yeah, you can do that. Me, not so much, you know. I don't think I have that talent, you know. It doesn't. I could draw a little bit, but painting is, you know. I wish I could do mural work, and believe me, if I could, I'd be making money with it because they get crazy money, you know. There was a guy down in, actually a woman in Naples, who would airbrush your gas tank on your motorcycle or the hood of your car, or actually anything really. And you know, to do a gas tank on a motorcycle, like a Harley or something, it was like $500, you know. Minimum, that's what it started at, and it could go even higher depending upon how complicated the artwork was. She was good though, you know. If you wanted something done on your car, like on the hood, like one corner, because I was going to have one, you know, some of it done, and I was looking at, you know, anywhere between $1,000 and $3,000, you know. My luck, somebody hit the fucking car and ruin it, and I'd have to kill them and go to prison and everything else, you know. But it's amazing what you can do with them if you got the talent. I don't believe I have it. Bernard says, don't Amish identify as married with a beard, not married, no beard? I don't know, Bernard. I mean, I think they basically Old Testament where you're not supposed to trim your facial hair. You know, I think that in the Bible it says you're never to square your beard or your hair for that matter. You're supposed to just let it keep growing. You know, I mean, see, I couldn't do a ZZ Top beard, man. That would just no. You know, when the beard would interfere with me eating, that would be a problem for me. You know, so I normally I keep it relatively short. Of course, it looks better. It looked better when it was black too. You know, I was dyeing it for a while because you know vanity struck me for a bit, and I said, fuck this, too much work, you know, because I had to dye my hair too, and you know, I mean, I look better with black hair and a black beard, but you know, it's a lot of work. I ain't gonna do it, you know. So. There might be some truth in that, Bernard. I don't know. That's like the women from India. If they have the red dot, it means they're married. I think that means they're married. If it's a black dot, it means they're single, or vice versa. But the dot it actually does signify their marital status. That much I do know. I just don't remember which was which. I think the red means if they're married, black means they're available or promised or whatever. Because, you know, they still do arranged marriages over there. And people are fucking weird. So who the hell knows what the Amish does? But in the Old Testament, though, that was one of the rules for the Jews. A man couldn't square his beard, meaning he couldn't cut it. That's why they all run around with, you know, these huge beards. I guess if you don't cut it the first time, it will stop growing at a certain point. You know. So I'm told. Same with your hair too. You know, the more you cut your hair, the more you stimulate growth. It's the same with the beard too. He said in my family, we have tough beards. You know, I can't use an electric razor because I'd destroy them. My dad had the same problem. He had to use a blade, because my mom bought him one of those, the hell was it, the one with the three heads on it. I don't remember the name of them now, but it was a high-end razor, and he used it like once and it was fucked. He said, I can't use it, so he went, because he was using a straight edge, well, not a straight edge, the double-edged razor blades, and he had the one that you unscrewed to put the blade in. The problem with those things is you'd nick the shit out of yourself constantly. He'd come out of the bathroom with pieces of toilet paper all over his face. First time I shaved, I used that thing, man. It's a wonder I didn't die from bleeding out, And then they came out with the disposable ones. They had was it Gillette, I think, had the one that had a knob on it, and you can rotate the blade through it. So you'd shave with it until it got dull, and the knob on it, you'd rotate the blade, and it'd bring up a new, well, it was one blade, but it was like on a roll, and you'd do that, and you'd shave until you, and when it finally ran out, you replaced it. Then they started coming out with the multiple blades, what was that, the Schick 2, I think? Had 2 blades in it. That was like the greatest thing since sliced bread, until they came up with 3, then 4, and I think they're up to 5. How many fucking blades do you need? So, like I said, for me, shaving was a real pain in the ass. It's just, and I had to shave twice a day. I didn't get a 5 o'clock shadow. I got like an 11 o'clock shadow, in the morning. If I shaved at 8 in the morning, by 11 o'clock, I had hair on my face. And I'd have to shave again, and at night I'd have to shave 3 times a day. Fuck that. I said, better just let that shit stay there, And I think I look better with it myself. I make fun of, a lot of guys that don't have face hair, A real man has a beard. Some of them get mad, some of them see the joke and they blow it off. Bernard said, just Googled it. Yes signifies commitment and maturity, faith, and family. Okay. That makes sense. Floyd says, I guess that means my mustache, or I guess that my mustache means I live in sin. Yeah, well, they say about mustaches, right? You go down on a woman, you keep that scent on you for the rest of the day. Probably the older guys probably, remember that one. The young ones probably not. Tom Grassi says, here you go. There's a link for him to go to AmishFurnitureFactory.com. That beard Kamala had after she shaved it off, she really gained popularity. Asked James Brown. Think he went down. Oh, that was bad. Sorry. Good one, Bernard. Chuck says, Jim, do you remember seeing old houses when you disposed the old single-edged blades in the slot in the wall? I remember those. They weren't in the houses, though, but we didn't have one in our house, but we were in motels where they had them. And that's what you would do. You would throw your old blade down, and there was a box, I guess, behind the wall that caught the old blade so you didn't throw them around. I'll tell you, the first time what the hell, I was really young. I was probably maybe 6 years old. And when I was, fucking around in a medicine cabinet, my dad left a brand new double-edged blade in there out of the package. Well, I grabbed it. Big mistake. Fucking bloody mess, man. Fucking laid my fucking finger open just touching that bastard. That's when they made blades, really good. I learned after that. And we didn't have a slot in the wall in the house, though. My dad would throw them in the trash. Well, I think the way he did his razor, it had a little dispenser. So he would put the old razor on top of the dispenser and push or do something, it would load the blade. And on the back end of it, you could dispose of the old blade. So the blades stayed in the dispenser when they were bad, and the new ones also stayed in the dispenser on the other side. Because really, you didn't want to throw them in the trash. I mean, even when they were dull, they were still sharp. You know. Chuck says, I saw them as a kid. Yeah, I mean, you older guys, yeah, you would have seen them, because I've seen them in motels. You know, we didn't have one in our house, but I'm sure other people might have. Rod says, I still like them, Chuck. Have my granddad's razor and leather strap and soap cup. Oh yeah, the old straight edge, man. Now I used to go get mine done professionally, just under my neck, at the barber shop. We had an Italian barber down in Naples, and I used to go see him, and yeah, just give me a general, you know, light trim on my hair. Like, you know, he says, you want to shave? I says, yeah, just under my neck, you know. He'd put the hot towel around you, about scold you, you know. Take it off, and they'd be out there sharpening that blade up on the strap. So I remember as a kid, because my uncle Benny was a barber. I was real young, I was 6, 7, 8 years old, and my dad used to take him. I didn't get shaved, obviously, but you know, anytime somebody was in front, it was an older guy, he wanted to shave, and my Uncle Benny'd be out there sharpening that razor, you know. And that's why I say you never want to piss your barber off. Not when he's got that fucking straight edge. One slip and you're done. But I'll tell you, it's amazing the close shave you can get with those things. You know. And I kind of miss having that done now, because I wouldn't trust anybody up here to do it, you know. I barely trust them to cut my hair. Floyd says, I remember watching my dad shave with a straight razor. Yeah, my dad did a couple of times, but like I said, he started using the double-edged blades and the razors. They had a screw on the bottom of them, and it would open up the doors. You put the blade in there. Like I said, he had a dispenser for it, and you'd screw it back up, and it would close the doors, and you were ready to shave with it. But Bernard says, Jim, there are two barber shops here that do straight razor, hot towel shave. Oh, absolutely, man. Like I said, I wouldn't let anybody up here do it, but if I'm ever in Naples, you know, one day and they need a shave, I'd go see that barber. He's still there, you know. And like I said, he was good. I trusted him, you know. That hot towel is a hell of a thing. I guess the hot towel makes your beard here stand up better. But it feels good, too. They wrap your whole face with it, you know. I never got a full shave. Maybe one day I might try just for shits and giggles, you know, or let them shave everything off except for the mustache. But, you know, shave it off with a straight edge, and it'd probably be kind of neat, you know. Might actually last a couple of days, too. Who knows? You know, those things are, you know, they're falling out of popularity, though. You know what I mean? It's becoming a lost art. I mean, let's put it this way. Would you want a Gen Xer or a Gen Zer shaving your neck with a straight edge? I sure as hell wouldn't. You know, just don't trust them, you know. But it's a shame, though, that, you know, that things were once normal and every day they're becoming almost relics of the past, you know. It's a shame. Yeah, that's the world we live in, isn't it? Still pretty early. We'll run till 8. Then I'm going to close it out. I'm still a little, not quite 100% from this visit from my stepdaughter. You know? They don't plan very well. They do things on the spur of the moment, and then, you know. So my wife was kind of mad. She says, you never go anywhere. I said, I'm not going to Naples. I'm not spending 12 fucking hours down there, you know. I says, I'll be miserable. There's nothing for me to do there. I don't like the place. That's why I left, you know. So we're going to go to the beach, or we're going to go to the pier. Well, go right ahead. I've been there, done that, you know. I ain't missing nothing. Bernard says, Floyd, I bought my Granddad, an electric razor. Oh yeah, there's a story, but he got the shakes in his late 80s. Well, it's a Norelco. That was why I couldn't think of the name before. The Norelco. It's got 3 heads on it. Nice razor, but it doesn't work well on really tough beards. I mean, you'll destroy the blades in a hurry, you know. And once they get dull, they don't shave anymore, they pull. And the last thing you want is get an electric shaver caught up in your beard. Even if it is really tiny, you know. So, I mean, you know, as I said, I tried one back when I was a kid, you know, a teenager. Didn't like it, and I just said, you know what? I'll just leave it there. Hell with them, you know. And it was great because I never got ID'd at the liquor store or the bars. Because, you know, I said, I had the goatee. I looked older. They just assumed I was, you know, 21. Not a problem, you know. I said, never got asked for an ID, so. Boy, so that could become a very dangerous situation, Bernard. Yeah, it could. Thomas probably got a razor in his travel saddle bags. Well, now they got these ones that they're from China, and I don't know how they work, but I don't know if they even really work, but just a little device, and it like completely shaves you down. You can shave your head with it and everything. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know why I'd want to do that, but yeah. I let my oldest son, the one that's passed away now, but I let him talk me into getting a crew cut, or basically a buzz cut, where my hair was about that fucking long on my head. And I did it for about 8-9 months. I just said, you know, I just don't look right with this. You know, I let it grow out after that. I can't imagine being bald. I mean, no offense to the bald guys, but I think some guys look good when they're bald and other guys not so much, and I'd be the one who'd be not so much, you know. I think I'd look pretty stupid without hair. And some guys, you know, he said, Tom Kvichak, he looks good bald. Tom Grassi looks good bald, you know. I mean, it just fits them guys, the shape of their head and all, you know. Me, I think it would look weird. It looked weird when I had, you know, the buzz cut, man. It's like, nah, this ain't gonna work, you know. But in the heat, though, it was a lot cooler, you know. Especially in the brutal summers down there. When you had hardly any hair on your head, man, it really kept your head a lot cooler. Because with a full head of hair, it was hot, you know. Bernard said, yeah, I had half of the toilet paper roll on face. My dad was like that, you know. He'd come out of the shower in the morning after he shaved. He'd be dotted all over his face with these fucking little bits of fucking toilet paper, you know. And of course, you know, when I used the razor, I had to use it too, because I don't know, it was just seemed like it was impossible not to nick yourself, you know. It was just not a very good system. I mean, at least the new razors, the multiple blade ones, the only way you're going to nick yourself with those is if they get really dull and you shouldn't be using it at that point. And even then, I don't think I've ever nicked myself with one. So what I do is I use my electric razor, you know, like a beard cutter, and I'll shave it all down to the skin, and then take my actual. I've got one of those. I can't remember the name of them now. The ones you get online, the razors with the disposable heads. I'll use that to finish it out. It comes out nice, you know. They got that one that fuck, I can't remember what it's called now. They're expensive though. I was looking at it, $150. It's 2 razor set. It's what's it called, the balls and beard razor. I shit you not, man. One's for shaving down there and one's for shaving your face. Why not, you know? But it's really cool, but like you said, $150. I don't know when I'll get around to buying one. I can't remember the name of the company now, but it's something funny, you know. I just can't. You guys probably remember it. Bernard says, my youngest brother went bald early. I told him 100 times to sand your headboard, dumbass. We had a kid in school. He was in high school, and he went bald. You know, it was family trait. I think he was in the 11th grade. And we used to fuck with him all the time, you know. And, you know, we used to, because the black kids would do that shit. They'd shine your head for a quarter, mister. It was kind of funny. That guy didn't really see the humor in it, but the rest of us did, you know. I had a friend who he went bald early too. He lost all his hair. I think he was 22 or 23. He started going bald like in his teens, you know. And his dad, same deal, and his grandfather, same deal. That was a family genetic trait. And he really, you know, he's pissed off. He said, I don't want to lose my fucking hair. I said, well, you know, the rest of your family did. You're in good company. And he looks, once again, he doesn't look bad with a bald head either, you know. But he's been bald, and he's my age now, I think, in his mid to late 60s. And he's been bald since, 22, 23. Long time, you know, so. I said it is what it is, you know. And my dad, like I said, when he passed away at 91, he had a full head of hair. And it was starting to recede a little bit out his forehead, but just very little, maybe a half inch. The rest of it was full head of hair. And he was using that Grecian form. I don't know if you guys know what that shit is or not. The older guys probably do, but I don't even know if he can still buy that shit anymore, you know. It was like an aftershave that you just threw a little bit in your hand and pat your hair with it, and you were good to go. Yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, but you will probably more than likely see me either with no beard next week or the very beginning stages of one. Usually when I shave, I don't go more than a week with, because I'll have to shave 2 or 3 times a day to keep it down. And I don't really like doing that because I'm lazy. Oh, you know what it is then, Russ. I remember, as a teenager, I remember him using that stuff because, my dad was 40 years older than me, because he robbed the cradle with my mother. She was 18, and of course, like I said, he was, I don't know, he was in his 30s at that point. So after I was around for a few years, my mother had me at 18. So I think by that time, she was in her late 20s, early 30s. And my dad was, already in his 40s. And I don't know when he started using it, but as long as I can remember, he used that shit every day, Floyd says, what are you printing? I'm printing, this here is a, let's see, where's my overhead here. This here is another platform for the overhead rail, the overhead platform station. I have to extend to what I've got. And one of the printers now is printing the roof section, and the other one's printing this outside part with these uprights on there. So that's what I'm printing on both printers. And they take a while. The roof section I think takes 6 hours. Oh, it's done now, believe it or not. I'll start printing the other one, so that'll be ready for me tomorrow. Whenever I get back out here. Yeah, all this is just here, and it sits. Get the overhead again. It sits right on the top here. And there you go. I'll have to glue that together later. That's an extension. Because when I added the third passenger car on the overhead rail, my stations were too short. So the third car is kind of out there on the track with no way to board or unboard it. So I'm going to lengthen both stations on each side and solve that problem. So I've still got to print the benches for this, put the people in, and probably put some lighting in as well. Because, well, you can't, there's no, I've got the lights turned off now, but I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, you can't really see it, but if you're in it, you can see it. It's all lit up, the station. I don't have this one plugged in yet, so there's no lighting on this one, but that one lights up, and I'll have to add on to it. And that's what this one's going to go on to. It's going to go over there. And that'll make it long enough to get all three cars under it. So it'll be cool. I'm a little pissed off with that chicken car, though. It doesn't work, man. Try it again. Oh, what the hell happened? I can't tell if it's clucking or not. Nah, it's not clucking. I gotta find out why. Something either came loose or shorted or something, so I'll figure it out. I'll work on it next time I'm in here. Russ says, my beard gets shaved twice a year. I have only shaved my mustache a couple times in my life as an adult. There you go. It's a lot like me, yeah. I usually shave this once or twice a year. Just to let my face hair out for a few days, you know. And start over again. Alright, just trying to remember, ouch, but who was starting to pick up some O gauge? Yeah, that was Tom Strange things. He picked up something because he's going to have a static display in his living room. And he bought some O gauge stuff, so he won't run, but it'll just be up on the shelf as a static display. Be cool. Well, he says I have to put a fox in the car. Oh, a fox in the hat now? That ain't gonna end well. Yeah, if they had recordings of chickens, you know, going nuts from being attacked, that might actually be a viable idea. Be a little weird, but it would work, you know. So, and I'm crazy enough to do something like that, so, you know. You never know what crazy shit I'll do next. That will rile up. Oh, yeah, I'll definitely rile up the chickens. I mean, it's a shame I didn't have a microphone in the real chicken pen when they got attacked by the bear. We had a bear kill 2 of my chickens last year. And I'm sure that got pretty hairy, but we were asleep. It happened in the middle of the night, so, you know, we didn't hear nothing. But I was going to put in a chicken cam, because there's actually one on the net, 24/7 cameras, and it's on live all the time, and you watch the chickens while they're sleeping, while they're clucking, while they're doing whatever, you know. 24/7, I mean, you have to be pretty fucking bored to watch it, you know. But yeah, I mean, in that case, that would have been kind of handy because of the bear. We would have actually seen it up close and personal, the bear attacking the chickens. That's, of course, not a good thing, but you know. Might have been interesting to watch, though, you know. That was a big bear, too. That sucker stood about 9 foot tall on its hind legs, you know. Because it went walking through on its hind legs by one of my cameras outside in the back, and because we, you know, reviewed it from the night before. I said, holy shit, man. That thing's huge, you know. The only way I could have killed that was with, you know, the AK-47. Ain't no way a 45 was going to take it down, I don't think. A 7.62 by 39 would, though. But I might have had to put a few rounds into it, too. Who knows? Ron says, oh, okay, Jim. Yeah, I've started to get some too on my head. I'm thinking third or high line up on the walls around the building. Oh, you mean cameras? Yeah, it's you know, I like having the cameras anyway because you know we don't really have a crime problem here, but if we did, they're going to get caught on the camera before they can disable them. You know, I've got 8 cameras on the property. You know, and none in the house. I don't believe in putting them in the house, but I do have one in here. Like I said, when you come in, you're not even going to notice the camera till you're on it. And by that time, it's too late, so, you know. And a lot of people have cameras in this area. Actually, all over Sebring. I mean, it's getting to be popular everywhere, though, anymore. Because, you know, people are afraid. It doesn't really prevent crime, but it probably reduces it some. But it also makes it a lot easier to catch the bastards, you know. So... Alright, Floyd, have a good one, man. Thanks for popping in, and have a fun and safe weekend, and we'll see you next week. Plus, I got one of those, the Amazon cameras. It's a, can't remember what the hell it's called. Use your phone with it. I got that on the back wall. I was supposed to be monitoring the one chicken coop, but we don't have any chickens in there anymore. So I may move at some point, but is it a blink camera? Yeah, the blink camera. That's pretty handy too, and it records. I got a 3 set of ABA F7s and freight and full SP passenger with ABBA F2. Cool. I don't have any B units. I got an F7 and an F3. One's a Waller's, and I can't remember what the other one's a no name, but I don't have any. I don't even have an unpowered B unit. One of these days I might pick one up. Who knows? But they're more of a static display now because I bought the Amtrak, you know, P42. P42. And that's handling, you know, the passenger cars. Because usually the F series, whether it be an AB or BA, whatever, that handles passenger as well. But I'm only going to have one passenger line, and that's the elevated one. The rest will all be freight. And of course the sugar short line. So, and who knows? I may even at some point decide to sell both the F7 and the F3. I don't know yet. One's DCC with sound, the other one's just DC. So we'll see. And I take that back, I do have an unpowered B unit because it came with the DC power. It's the Trump F7. And it's DC. I bought it. I was told, well, it led me to believe it was DCC. You know, with no sound, but it was DCC, and I bought it. And it came with an unpowered B unit. So I do have the unpowered B unit, but, you know, I suppose I could probably, I'm not even going to screw with them, hell with it. Like I said, I got the Waller's F3A is DCC and sound. And that's a good running loco. That's one of the first ones I bought. I got a really good, I bought it second hand. And it's I repainted it in my, you know, my colors, which was yellow at the time. I'll probably repaint it in the blue and silver. We'll see. Like I said, I really don't need any more locomotives. I got plenty. What I need to do is get them all. I got to get them speed matched at some point. I am going to pick up a speedometer at some point. Well, they don't. The one that they used to, I think, Tom Grash got. They don't make that anymore. But I have seen plans of making your own out of Arduino, and there's another one you could build too. That's not Arduino, and it's around $30-40 for all the components and the case and shit. But I got to make something because that's the best way to speed match. And once I get them all speed matched, then I could, run them in concerts and shit. I might even run, put them in the middle. I can't think of the name now, but because I wouldn't dare do that now. I'd have a derailment. None of my locos are speed matched, not even close. I was running a consist of the two ES44s, and they're not even matched, so one runs a little faster than the other one. And I've just never gotten around to resetting the CVs, but, like I said, I don't really, not going to be much, because it's not that much faster. But if I put one in front of the other, one will overrun the other one. Bernard says, I was never going to have anything newer than like a GP9, but Western Pacific had GE and Alcos, but number 3 truck locos all were 2 truck diesels. Okay. Oh, no, 3 truck locos. Now that I got to have SP running alongside now with the SP, had quite a roster. Yeah, without a doubt. As I said, I've got quite a bit of roster here too, really. I mean, not compared to most of you guys, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I got about 16 locomotives. And 17 if you count the one that I've got to put the new trucks on, but it's not operational at the moment. That's plenty. I'm never going to use that many, Like I have 2 steamers that I didn't even count in that are, they run, they're DC, but they're static locos, and I keep them, off the turntable, just so they're there, But now rolling stock, I got a ton of that shit, and I get more every day. I've probably got about 170, 180 pieces of rolling stock. And plus I could print up a lot too, because I did print up some already, not for myself, but for others. I may decide to print them up for myself one day as well. I've got some unique rail cars that I could, print up. So we'll see. So like I said, really going to the train show is kind of a waste for me, but I wanted to do it, and I wanted to see what I could buy, and I got a lot of nice stuff. I was happy. But that's why I don't go to too many of them, because, hell, I don't really need anything, A lot of the stuff that I do need, nobody makes. I have to print it myself. So, But every now and then I'll see something that's, different, and I might like, and I'll buy it, They had a lot of stuff at the villages. And like I said, a lot of stuff that I didn't need. But if I did need it, I could have probably spent $1,000 there. And had a truckload of shit. Because the prices were amazingly low. So, we'll see. Well, now what the fuck? The last time I looked at the clock, it was 20 till 8. And that's when I said I think we'll knock off at 8. Now it's 8:07. How the hell did that happen? Did I get picked up by a UFO and had a time slip, What the hell? Anyway, alright, so we're going to wrap this up because I don't want to be here all night. I mean, it's fun and all, but I'm really kind of wore out and I want to go to bed and just go relax for a couple hours before I hit the hay. So, what's that, Bernard? I weigh more forward steam and UD50s after they cabbage the turbines, but got a few of them too. I'm like late 50s to mid 70s. Oh, your error? Okay. Yeah, see, I'm on modern error, so I mean, I bought the BLI steamer on a lark, you know. I just thought it'd be fun to have. And then I bought the 148 to mimic the sugar line because they actually have one running right now. But realistically, short of the 148 steamer, I shouldn't have any steam stuff on my layout because I'm very modern. But hey, my railroad, I'll do what the fuck I want, you know. Alright, well anyway, I'm going to get off here, guys. I'm going to run the outro, and we'll see you next week. And hopefully I'll be on Starlink at that point. I should be. They're supposed to hook it up Monday. So, might actually have a really good stream next week. We'll see. And I hope I'll have more done to show off what I've done too. So, did I show you guys everything this time? Oh, I almost forgot. Before I go, Tom Grassi sent me this. If you guys have ever mowed lawn before, you'll like this. Check it out.